Oborigani, and welcome to the inaugural episode of Thoughts and Concepts. I am Jacob Renee, and these are just some thoughts and concepts I wanted to share with you guys. Today's title is It's Up, Prep for 2026. And well, actually, this is just prep for any point in a year of you just trying to get yourself together. So something I thought would be fun is if in the comments you guys tell me what do you think of when you hear the term "it's up." Let's do a Jeopardy moment. Do 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 do. All right, so I hope you guys put what you think of or what you think I mean when I say it's up. And that way we'll tally these at the end of the month. Each one can be an entry. And at the end of the month, I'll put them in a randomizer and I'll send you guys out some form of merch from Thoughts and Concepts. All right. So it's up. When I heard the term it's up and it's up and it's up and it's stuck. There's a song by a raptress by the name of Cardi B, and it's called It's Up. So the reason I thought to title this inaugural episode It's Up is because I was in a master class a couple of weeks ago, and the question that was asked by my very beautiful coach was, what word describes your year? And we were basically discussing what word described your year last year. For me, when I'm recording this, I'm talking about what word described my year in 2025. And for me, that word was humbled. I am a Christian. I know that may be a little weird to say, and depending on what time you're listening to this, but in my time, it can be a little bit controversial. But when it comes to my faith, I'm not playing no games. I'm not accepting no contradictions of it because it's what got me through and it's what's continued to get me through. So the reason I say that the word described my year last year was humble was because in all the years that I've been saved, I found myself back in the wilderness. So, and that brings me to our concept for today, which is the term wilderness. Now, in the Bible, the wilderness isn't just a physical desert, but a profound symbol for a place of testing, purification, and divine encounter, representing a spiritual, already but not yet state where people are stripped of worldly comforts to learn independence on God, find their identity in Him, and encounter Him directly, like Israel's journey from Egypt or Jesus' temptation. And for the actual cultural world, you can just say an unexpected season of immense pressure, sometimes of reoccurring issues, just, rearing their heads and coming back into your life and really testing if you really have overcome whatever that issue may be. And if you are as strong and as sustained as you believe you are. As a Christian, I haven't felt this feeling in a really long time. Normally when most Christians get saved, you feel this pressure, right? This immense pressure surrounding you of everything being so much harder. And that's because you decide to give your life to Christ. Like any religion, when you decide to take your religion more serious or to practice your faith, it can be so much pressure of the outside world that you may not really know how to develop a new normal that involves your faith being at the forefront of you, what you do and what your behavior is. And that can be generally, pressure filled. And it really, really can suck. So for my Christian girlies or Bible Bible thumpers or bandits, the verse that came to mind was I believe it's 1 Corinthians 4:8-10, whereas we are hard pressed on every side, but not crushed, perplexed, but not in despair, persecuted, but not abandoned, struck down, but not destroyed. We always carry around in our body the death of Christ so that the life of Jesus may also be revealed in our body. And according to our faith, it's the ultimate sacrifice, right? That Jesus made for us. So all I felt was immense pressure, and especially being saved for so long. I would say actively in my faith, putting myself in the forefront. It was over 12 years ago. Um, I'll put down in the chat how long ago it was since I actually went down in the water. But it's just this feeling of humbling for me, because as a person who believes she's so strong in her faith, who doesn't miss a Sunday, who doesn't miss a Wednesday Bible study, who just is spending her time with God as much as possible, I really felt like, oh, there's nothing you can tell me about my faith. I stand strong in my faith. And there's no, so my oh my, was I humbled when the Lord just picked me on up and put me in the wilderness a decade plus, in over a decade plus into my faith filled journey. Because if anyone, as a person of faith, you don't have to be a Christian, you can be a person of a Muslim faith, the Hindu faith, the Buddhist faith, the Jewish faith. We all know that living in our faiths can be quite difficult, especially when you have outside world. We're in the world, not of the world, and that could be a very difficult place to be. So finding myself back in the wilderness, feeling that immense pressure, feeling like how did I get here? It was is a very insane perspective. And what I was realizing in the midst of me being in the wilderness, in those dark moments, feeling like, okay, how did we get here? What am I supposed to learn? And how do I get out of it? I realized that the Lord had taken me far as He could take me in my current state. And the issue that I needed to work out and become aware of was the fact that I can no longer not show up for me. I can no longer operate or reach what I was ultimately created for, my destiny, in the current condition in which I was in. And I was basically not being safe for me, not talking to myself nice, not keeping my promises to myself, but keeping my promise to everybody else, not celebrating my small wins, which can help you continue to propel you on your journey of success. The Lord was like, no, sweetie, you've done all you can do. I can't take you where you need to go, because you have to be safe in yourself, safe with yourself, and true to yourself to get you through what is going to be some very difficult moments coming up. And it hurt. In all actuality, it hurt. And then I was immediately enraged, because I was like, why are we back in the wilderness? Why is this happening? So, for everyone else who's of a different faith, please tell me down in the chat what you, in your faith, according to your faith, what is your wilderness moment, your testing phase, your immense pressure phase, your pruning phase, in which your faith is working out the kinks in you in order for you to be propelled forward, not only in your faith, but to your destiny in which you were created for. And let me know the last time you were in the wilderness. So, what do we do when we find ourselves in the wilderness? The first thing that I did was, once I got finished spiritually lamenting and expressing my dissatisfaction with being in the wilderness and feeling so much pressure. I know you're like, the word of the day is pressure. But no, I think that's the best way to describe it, where it feels like there's no relief on any sides, on any side of your life. You spend majority of your time just trying to maintain in order to get through, or preserve what you have in order to get through. The first thing, once I got over my lamenting, is I had to make sure I was talking to myself nicely. One of the things that can get away from us is our self-talk. First thing when we mess up, oh, that was stupid. I was so stupid. Why did I do that? And what we don't realize we're doing is we're conditioning ourselves to not only be negative towards ourselves, but to receive it from others, because we've already heard it, because we said it ourselves, and someone else saying it doesn't really amount to much. So I consistently talk to myself nice. Talk to me nice. Talk to me nice. Bonus Jeopardy moment. Put it in the bottom if you know where that's from. And I do my best to like push forward. One of the things that can really bog you down is your fear. And one of the things I continuously say to myself is just because I'm afraid doesn't mean I'm not safe. Because it's going to take a lot of overcoming your fears to get out of the wilderness because the Lord is pressing and pruning you depending on your faith. Like I said previously, put in the bottom what your wilderness moments are in different faiths because I'm so interested in how there are similarities in different religious faiths that no one really acts like exists, which is another story. Another story for another time, another video. So first thing, talk to yourself nice. Remind yourself that this is only for a season. And this is only for me to get to the better me, the best me, the reason in which I was created. And that'll help you. But another reason that we were reflecting upon our year was because we're preparing ourselves for the next year and what we wanted that word to be centered around and just diligently focus yourself on that. And I haven't really figured out what my word is. Part of me feels like it's discipline. Then other times I feel like it's it's accountability and just mainly me being accountable with myself. But as I get that epiphany, I'll definitely share that along the way. And in the next couple of videos, where I'm going to break down exactly the steps I took. Also, before we go, sweatshirt moment. Change isn't coming, change is here. This hoodie is from Change Church. Some of you guys may know it as Club Change. They are everywhere. And just wanted to shout them out. And if someone notices my hoodie, can you tell me what's different about my hoodie versus others who may have this merch? Put it down below. All of this stuff will go into the monthly draw for merch that I'm going to give out as a form of being a part of the family. Remember, family, you can only control yourself, not the outcomes. So don't be married to the outcomes. Until next week, love to love you.